on fire today.
Sitting here in the dark, I realized I didn't turn the lights on.
The Podgram with Tom and Christy.
It's sad that this is the world that we live in.
Here, let me stop and tie my shoe right in front of you so you can't drive.
The Podgram.
All of a sudden, I hear...
Well, I don't really care.
Join the conversation. 855-PODGRAM.
To bust your ass.
Yeah.
The Podgram with Tom and Christy starts now.
Well, good morning to one and all. Thank you so much for coming by the Podgram. And you just don't know how close, once again, we came to not being on the Podgram this morning. Thank you to the computer and technology. That's it. I'm ordering a computer this afternoon. I'm done with it. I just, but right now, bigger and better things. Right now, we need to say hi to my good friend, Christy. Hello to you.
Hello.
Yes, indeed. How are you?
Hello.
Yes. We are on, by the way, if you're looking for us, we're on YouTube Live because Facebook kind of sucks.
Could you check your text messages, please?
My text messages?
Yes, please.
Nope, because I don't have my phone. Nope.
You do not?
It's not here. Nope, I don't have it.
Oh, no. Okay.
This is what happens when you're not addicted to technology, by the way. I leave my phone laying around all kinds of different places.
Okay.
The upside is it's on my nightstand plugged into the charger, so later on when I unplug it, it will be fully charged.
Okay. So I shall do it in a different way.
All right. I want to get started. Did you see? And I tried to watch this. I tried to watch this yesterday, but I was in between a whole bunch of other projects, like children and getting the computer put in the van. And you know what? Hang on. I'm falling down on my job. I didn't go back to the split camera. I just left it on you, which is okay.
Okay.
It was okay. I could look at you for an hour. That's fine.
Aw.
Yeah.
You're so sweet.
You're the eye candy. That's,
Well, I'm the beauty, you're the brains.
The beast? Yeah.
No, the brains.
The
Seriously.
beast.
Because if it weren't, I may bring content, but you bring talent, hands down.
Checks in the mail, baby. So between children and putting the computer in my wife's van, which by the way fixed it.
Yay!
Even though the computer that they sent me had glue all over it, because I guess the casing had been broken. Perhaps it was involved in an accident, because the computer from those vans is right up front, right behind the headlights. So apparently I got a computer that had been broken in an accident, and they glued the case back together with this, hot glue gun looking stuff.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Thanks for charging me $300 for that. But it works. It works, and it has a lifetime guarantee on it. So it is what it is. So between all of that and having to go pick up my kids from school and having to do this and having to do that, I was trying to watch Zuckerberg was testifying in a hearing before Congress about the safety of Facebook users' personal information and what gets shared. And I guess there was a company back in 2014 that was able to scrape people's personal data and use it for, I don't know what they used it for. Doesn't matter. But so you hear the congressmen and congresswomen asking him questions, and it was kind of a split house. Half of them were like, "Hey, listen, I use Facebook myself. My kids use it. My wife, that's how we keep up with each other, blah, blah, blah. So my question is about security this, security that, the other thing." Because Facebook allows app developers to create their own apps for use on Facebook. Like, for example, I have a website that you log into. It's a forum. But one of the options is that you can log in using your Facebook ID.
Yes.
Now, I don't ever get that information. I get no information from Facebook about the people who log in using that method. And that's kind of how it's supposed to be. But there are other developers who have the wherewithal to figure out how to take those users' information and either sell it to advertisers or whatever. Okay?
Right.
So there's this hearing about the safety of Facebook, terrorist activity, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, no, wait a minute. Zuckerberg came up with this website in his dorm room over at Harvard, right? Everybody knows the
Yeah.
story about where Facebook came from. It was just a small thing, and it was for students to hang out and mash up with each other. That's all it was. And it just turned into something very large. And probably overwhelming because now there's 20,000 employees at Facebook. You know, it's a huge company now. And they also own Instagram. Do they own Twitter? I think they own Twitter as well, and a couple of other things.
I think so.
Because, you know, when you're that big, when you have billions with a B, billions of users, and you're serving ads to each of those people, you're making a couple of bucks. So you can go off and buy things like Twitter, Hawaii, Instagram. You know, you can.
Your own island. Yes.
Yes. But so I'm listening to these people. And of course, it didn't go without saying that one of the congressmen, he had a speech impediment. I think maybe he had had a stroke. We couldn't see the Congress people. Well, we could. It was like a tight, up close Zuckerberg frame. Was all that you like they were drawn into him almost as tight as we are on you right now. That's all you saw during the whole thing, and it's on Facebook. And I didn't get to watch the whole thing. There's like 3 hours I didn't get to see, but the crux of it, what I did see, and I've got it saved over here so I can go back and look at it later. But the crux of it is that everybody. And the congressman that had the speech impediment, I imagine he probably had some sort of a stroke at some point, and that's why he spoke like that. So, like, I'm not making fun of him. But, and, you know, you can tell when you hear someone speak.
Yeah.
Generally, even if you can't see them, what ethnicity they are. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Well, sometimes not. I have a great deal of...
Unless they've had vocal coaching.
Well, I have a great deal of respect for people of any race that when you can't see them, you don't know.
Unless they become consciously aware of their speech patterns.
Yeah.
And they've worked very hard at losing it.
But as a general rule, when you don't see someone but you hear them, you know who they are, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I'm not being racist when I say this dude was probably a black dude. Okay. And of course, all of the questions, and he was liberal no less. So all of his questions for Zuckerberg were about like racist type stuff. Well, is it true that you don't let African Americans on Facebook participate in this? No, it's not true. You know. But let me back away from that for a second and say that Facebook is where? On the internet, right?
Yes.
It's an internet thing, right?
Right.
And Zuckerberg had said several times, one of the things was about privacy. One of the concerns was about privacy of the user's information, pictures, postings, whatever. And several times he pointed out that when you put new content, when you post a picture or you make a post or you do anything on Facebook, right there on the little window that you're doing it in the bottom corner is your privacy control, where you can show it to public, friends of friends, nobody, only me. Every time you put anything on Facebook, you have that in there. And if you don't choose anything, it'll go to whatever your default setting is.
Yes.
So for me, I think all my stuff's public. What do I care?
I think I have mine on friends and friends of friends only.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're going to put something on the internet, how much privacy do you really expect to get?
I have a closed network only because I post pictures of my children and their friends at school.
Yeah.
And I don't want just anybody seeing them.
Yeah.
Until they're old enough to decide what is seen and not seen.
Yeah. But so my point in all this is, even though you select those privacy settings,
yes,
there's a pretty good chance that more people can see it than you really think can see it.
Oh, if it's the second you put it on the web.
Yeah.
Anywhere on the internet, as soon as it is on, as soon as you have released it from your PC or your tablet or your phone or your device,
Yeah.
as soon as you've released it,
Yeah.
it's gone. It's available.
Yeah. So the internet thing seems to be getting larger, more popular. More devices rely on the internet to function. We've got the IoT, they call it now, the Internet of Things, which would include your Amazon Echo and your Google Home device and your smart speakers and Chromebooks. I mean, Google Chrome lives on the internet. The Chromebook lives on the internet. It has no internal, you have to have internet in order for the thing to work, to do what you can't say.
Because it's all on the cloud.
It's all on the cloud,
everything.
right. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm uneducated. I think the internet thing probably going to be around a while.
Yeah.
I think we're probably going to be around. That's going to be around. And the very first thing that you need to learn about the internet, the very first thing you need to learn is be careful what you put up there, because you can't take it back down.
This is true.
And so a lot of these questions revolved around, and I'm going to summarize and paraphrase here, but a lot of these questions were around how Zuckerberg and Facebook can basically save people from themselves. You should have warnings for everything. What are you doing to secure it? And Zuckerberg says years ago in an interview, I think it was like 2010 maybe, I saw him in an interview somewhere. He says, listen, people give me the information. I don't make it required.
Good morning, Suzanne.
Where's Suzanne?
She is tuning in this morning.
I see. Where do you see that? Because I don't see it.
She sent me a message because she's listening on her device, so she can't be in both places. So she sent me a message to let me know she's listening.
I'm going to, and I want to say this to the YouTubers, because I can't have the YouTube page up and broadcast reliably right now because the computer it won't have it. And so I'm going to open the chat room on the website at thepodgram.com. And if you would like to participate in the live show, that's where you need to go to
Chrissy
interact.
is not with us this morning, however, because she had another commitment this morning.
I see. So I am now in the live chat room, thepodgram.com, and then there's a button at the top of the page that says live chat. Click here. If you don't see it, you don't need to use it. It's not for you.
This is true.
Yeah. So these people are going after Zuckerberg. Like, what are you doing? People, and he said in an interview, I don't make the only personal information about people on the internet, on Facebook, is the information they volunteered to put up there on their own. I didn't make them give me anything. Yeah. They did it all on their own. They chose what to share and what not. The users choose what to share and what not to share. So if they're willingly giving me their credit card information, they're willingly giving it to me. I can't, that's,
absolutely. Absolutely.
He doesn't, he maintains that they do not sell users' information, and also the apps on Facebook, like games and different apps. There's like a calendar or an address book where you can have your friends, blah blah blah. When you go to one of those apps, you give it permission to use your data, your personal information, and it will tell you what information it wants.
Yep. Correct.
And you can either accept it or not accept it. But these apps are all developed by developers, not Facebook. Facebook just makes their infrastructure available for people to build apps. And whatever information you give to them, well, you gave it to them. Why then is it Zuckerberg's? Look, I get a little upset. He looks like a little pimple-faced kid who's got billions, and I'm like, screw you, man. I'm pushing 50, and I can't rub. I'm getting excited about a 20-year-old minivan. All right. So aside from the fact that there's a little bit of green tinge to me, the dude, he built a website. People came to it. They're willingly giving their information to it. How's that his problem? How is that? Why is he involved in a hearing on that?
Yeah.
Oh, terrorist act. My kid. Well, watch your kids a little bit. My children have access. Monitor your children. Now, that's a hard thing to do for a lot of people because a lot of people aren't tech savvy to begin with. And then those of us who are tech savvy, as we get older and technology moves more quickly, can't keep up with it like we could when we were in our 20s. So it is harder to monitor your children, but you got to start. Yes. But you have to.
If Marconi was alive, would they be grilling him?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Just
Well,
about what's on TV.
Well, yeah, but see, yes. Well, this is exactly. It's like blaming the bartender for a drunk driver. No, dude. I work at a bar. It's my job to make drinks and give them to these people.
It's like blaming spoons for making you fat.
Yes, it's like blaming guns for violence.
The Podgram with Tom and Christy. Join the conversation. 855-PODGRAM.
Quarter after right here on the Podgram. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you want to interact with us, you have to come to our live chat room over at the website. The YouTube thing, I can't see that. We can't see that. So if you want to interact, thepodgram.com and then click on live chat. You can also pick us up on TuneIn. We're live on TuneIn right now as well. If you don't want to look at us, and you can look at, I can understand why you'd want to come here and look at Christy, but because she's got the lipstick going on today. Look at this, the eye roll, everything. And let's get in tight there and look at these earrings.
They're cute. They're like little pearls.
Yeah,
I like them.
See, she's all pretty today.
They were my mom's, so
the shirt. So the shirt was not my mom's. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
I will borrow a pair of earrings from, my mom, but I'm not borrowing clothing. Yeah. We did not have the same taste at all.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like an older person thing or not, but like she used to go to the store and buy something. And if she found a shirt she liked, she would buy like 4 of them in the same color.
Huh.
Why?
You kind of have to project at that point what you're going to... Okay, I like this shirt today. And you have to project, I'm going to like this shirt for 20 years. So I've got to have 20 years worth of this shirt. Yeah. I almost went all Simon Cowell today with a V-neck T-shirt, but I didn't do it. Yeah.
So along the same lines of what you're talking about with Mark Zuckerberg, what I have on tap for today is child shaming.
Child shaming.
Internet child shaming.
Okay.
We started talking about it briefly before the show.
See, and again, this internet thing is poking back in there. See, the internet's around. I mean, it's here.
Internet child shaming.
Yeah.
Kind of like pet shaming, where people used to take a picture of their pet in front of the pile of poo and used to make a little sign that said, I was taken outside 16 times, came in the house for 30 seconds, and look what I do with 2 O's.
I have to, you know what? I have to tell a story about that very thing. It just popped in my head after 30 years. It just popped in my head, and I have to share this because I still, 30 years later, can't believe that this happened. All right. So I worked at the Waffle House, and there was a girl that worked at one of the waitresses worked at the Waffle House, and in true Waffle House fashion, I don't believe between her and her husband, I don't believe they had a vehicle that was reliable.
Oh, geez.
And that's pretty commonplace at the Waffle House.
Yeah.
What's not commonplace at the Waffle House is teeth. On the way to, what has 6 boobs and 12 teeth? Third shift at the Waffle House. So this girl who always smelled like kerosene, found out she was washing her uniform shirt in the sink and then drying it on the kerosene heater, which was kind of dangerous because it was polyester, But anyway. Oh, Lord. So that's how they did their clothes. They washed them out in the sink and then anyway, so she comes to me and her husband is with her the whole shift, right? Just sitting there drinking up the water, because he didn't have any money.
Yeah.
I think she spiffed him a cup of coffee maybe. But anyway, so at the end of the shift, she comes to me in the parking lot. They follow me out. They converge on me in the parking lot and say, "Hey, maybe give us a ride home." It's like, where do you live? Well, about 30 miles that way. Oh, the opposite direction from where I live. Good. Sure, why not? So I take them home, and we go inside, and they have a ferret. Now, I'm a pet person. I don't mind pets, but I like mainstream pets. I'm a mainstream pet kind of
Cats, dogs. Yeah.
Cats, questionable. Dogs, yeah. Some goldfish, some, aquatic life. Ferrets, not so much. Sloth, not so much. Snakes, they have their place, but I don't think I care for them in my house. Jenny found a snake in the yard yesterday. She was playing with it. That's fun. Anyway, and then she cried when I told her she had to go put it away. Go put it in the woods. I want to keep it. No. We have enough things to feed around here. Anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, so I go and they got this ferret. Now, let me give you the visual of the room that we enter when we go into the house. This would be the living room, dining room area of the house. There were newspapers along this one wall that were stacked up like to where a chair molding might be, a little higher than to where a chair molding might be. And on top of that, and the whole room was they had this dog that probably went about 80 pounds, tied to the kitchen table leg, and it was just dragging it around the house as it moved around. It was just dragging the table with it. The table wasn't holding the dog back whatsoever, but they
Oh wow!
But he was chained to it, and he was dragging the table around. And then there was on the floor, it was hardwood floor. On the floor were like cigarette ashes and cigarette butts, right? Okay, so that's the kind of housekeeping. But anyway, on top of this stack of newspapers, it was probably about 12 feet from one end to the other, was this cage with a ferret in it. And on the wall above the ferret cage, in graffiti-style spray paint, it said, "Bad girl," with an arrow pointing to the ferret cage.
Oh, goodness.
And he felt like he had to explain. He said, well, she peed on the floor. I'm looking at the floor, and I'm thinking, well, why would she not? I would pee on the floor. It looks like a floor that needs to be peed on. It looks like, you know what I'm saying? So we're smoking a cigarette. Everybody has a cigarette. And I flip my ashes on the floor because they're covered in ashes and cigarette butts. And he looks at me and says, dude, did you just flip cigarette ashes on my floor? So what I said was, I do it all the time. I do it at home too. I'm sorry, man. Habits, I do it at home. What I should have said was, dude, if you would sweep this thing and not have cigarettes on the floor, I probably wouldn't have done that. But your house lends itself to being peed on the floor and cigarettes crunched down on the floor. So there you go. But that kind of ties back into your public shaming because of the ferret and how he spray painted on the wall to shame the ferret, which I'm sure the ferret really was hurt by that. I'm sure the ferret was like, oh, damn it, I got to live under. Come on, take that down before somebody sees.
On Facebook, I sent you a phone number.
You did.
While I'm explaining internet child shaming, if you could take care of that, I would appreciate it.
Is this person aware that we're going to be calling them?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So internet child shaming is like the new thing. It's when your child decides to do something that you find is just utterly outrageous. And you feel the need to publicly, permanently shame them. I mean, ridiculously shame them.
Yeah.
Like have them hold a letter, read a letter. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know if you dialed the right number.
Did I misdial the number? I'm so sorry.
Is this Jen?
I don't
think we'll do the number.
I don't think I did. All right. This is what happens when you don't. This is what happens when you don't put the dashes between the numbers.
Oh.
Because I can't see. I can't see.
47.
I get it. I just have to be more careful.
Okay. Got it. So, if you go to YouTube and you put in child shaming, lots of interesting videos come up. Like one in particular that we talked about earlier was when the mom who found out her daughter was bullying a child with cancer shaved her daughter's head.
I'm so sorry. We got the wrong number again. I'm sorry. You sent me the wrong number is what you did.
Seriously?
Well, look at it and verify that the number you sent me. And put dashes and dits in it this time if you're going to send me
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, goodness.
Yeah.
So this has become very popular. I did. Yes.
Yeah, see? Making me look like a butt nugget. Yeah. All right.
So I don't know quite how I feel about this because, one, it's going to be permanently out there, like forever and ever. And,
Is this now when you talk about internet shaming, are you talking kind of like what that dude did to the ferret, but on the internet?
Yes.
I see.
Like they're having their children read a letter saying, I am not 13. I'm 13. I'm not 30. I refuse to be, or I am not going to, or, my mom says that I should never lie on the internet and say that I'm 40. And I mean, like when your parents call you out and humiliate you on the internet. I mean, it's just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do if you get a public job?
This better not be the same girl answer.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, Christy. How are you?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Are you serious right now? We went through all this crap so you could sing happy birthday.
And I want Jen's opinion.
We went through all this crap, calling people and getting them out of bed because it was
She's not. No. I asked.
No, the first girl was probably in bed. That's why she was so. Who's this? Well, she didn't say that, but paraphrase.
No, but Jen was brushing her teeth, so I made sure that she was.
That's a pretty good habit. That's pretty good.
Occupied. So
glad you have clean teeth there, Jen. That's good.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, don't have to smell me. Thanks.
Happy birthday! I only just became aware that it was your birthday today. So I didn't.
Thank you.
So I didn't have time to get you anything. I'm sorry.
Well, if you would have checked Facebook, it would have told you.
You know what? I really don't even go on Facebook that much anymore.
No. So we're talking about internet shaming of your kids.
So we thought we'd call you up and shame you. No, that's not what we're doing.
Uh-oh.
And I want to know what you think.
So now,
don't agree.
hold that thought. So now, instead of inviting people to call in, we're just calling random people. Like, what do you think?
Because I know I value Jen's opinion, and I honestly think I know she's got one.
I value Jen too. She's awesome.
I know she's got one. She just doesn't call.
Okay. So we're gonna victimize her and just make her. Yeah.
Put me on the spot.
Put her on the spot.
Like,
We might as well show up at her house with a camera crew. Hey Jen, how are? Nice nightgown.
Hey, I got her Macintosh apple wine for her birthday.
I didn't know Apple made wine, but okay.
And it was awesome. So I'm forgiven.
Did you jailbreak it before you gave it to her?
It was very good. We drank the whole bottle in one sitting.
Yes.
So you disagree?
Yeah, because I feel like kids do a lot of stupid things. Peer pressure, not thinking, just doing things, spur of the moment, like, oh, I'm going to do something stupid and fun and cool and impress my friends without thinking, and they could regret it later.
Well,
they could do it and go, wow, that was really stupid. Why did I do that? And now a parent is going to make a total ass out of them, and, it's
Kids-
on the internet.
Kids have one job: to be morons. That's what they do. That's that's how they roll. And I don't think we're actually going to find anybody who has any common sense and says, yeah, I think you should shame your kids right there. Put them on a street corner in a T-shirt that says, I stole some stuff. I don't think you're going to find anybody who's going to say, yeah, I think you should do this. It's a good idea. Put them on the internet,
But so I got the idea to talk about this morning. I stole it from a radio show this morning.
Okay, but why do I get the idea, and correct me if I'm wrong, why do I get the idea that this is moving into a teen suicide somewhere?
No, well, there was a dad who did. He shamed his daughter so badly that she did.
Because that's where that goes.
Oh, no.
There was another guy who called and said, I absolutely think that it's a great idea. I mean, every generation has their way of embarrassing their kids. I mean, last generation, it was, making whatever of them and doing this and doing that. And, the internet is our generation's way of, making a statement. And
well, the statement that you make, because listen, let me explain something. Let me sidestep right here and tell you right now. My kids are just, they would screw up a lake. My kids are bad. Let me give you an example. I took my boys, Travis and Steve, to the auto parts store. They wanted to ride in the truck. All right, cool. So I get out at the shop to hand the keys to my van over to the guy at the shop. I was out of the truck. I said, you guys stay in here. You stay buckled up. Be quiet. Don't be shouting out the windows. Don't get out of the truck, whatever. I was gone for, 2 minutes. And I came back, and they had ripped the overhead console door off. My kids could destroy a rock. I'm just telling you. But when if I see somebody shaming their kids publicly, whether it's the internet or any other way, I think the only statement that's made there is, man, you're an ass cracker. I mean, yeah. How can you do it with your kid? I get angry at my kids. My blood pressure goes up. There's probably been 20 years taken off my life in stress factor. See here. This, it's gray. This is Travis. This is Jenny. This stripe in the middle is reserved for Steve later. He can turn that gray. But I'm telling you, the last thing because what's going to happen if you do that? I sound like Porky Pig this morning. What happens is you give a kid a complex.
Point two. How many times as a parent does your kid do something really stupid? You get really ticked off right away and scream and yell at them. And later go, God, maybe I was a little too harsh. I was really mad.
I do that all the time. All the time. I come down on my kids because they did something stupid. They did something, really, really, they did a punishable offense. And then after, I don't really make a habit out of beating my children. I threaten that I will beat them. And I have this paddle with nails in it and stuff that I show them. The spaghetti getter thing, I'm going to beat you with this spaghetti getter. You know what I'm talking about? The serving thing for yeah. I don't know what the hell that's called. I call it the spaghetti getter. And I show it to them. And I'm gonna whip your ass with this.
It's the lick and stick.
It's the lick and stick. And they're like, oh, Daddy's not really gonna spank us. He loves us. And I don't. Yeah. All I have to do is wield it a little bit, and then they kind of come a little bit back into compliance. Not fully into compliance, because
I have a yardstick. Oh,
no yardstick ain't gonna do nothing. You gotta show. You gotta show them.
I love yardsticks because he gives me 3 additional feet to get to him.
Yes, but a piece of a metal pole that same length,
because it's not that heavy. I can just it's fast.
Yeah.
Telling you.
Yeah. So my kids, I wield this. I wield battle axes at them, but I don't actually hit them. But the thing is, the last thing I want to do is to give my kids a complex or lower their self-esteem, because that stays forever. Stays forever. You get on me all the time because I make fun of myself. I do it because I think it's funny.
What would happen?
But I think there's some training ahead of time from other people, from my dad, who made comments and said things. You look at somebody who's been divorced and their husband was abusive and they got low self-esteem. You look at a lot of these people, and look, there is nothing more attractive than confidence on a person. Not cockiness. There's a difference. But confidence. When you smile and one of the things that I love that you do is you have this laugh where you throw your head back and you show 84 teeth. And it's just like, if you weren't confident, you wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And I don't care if people who have all jacked up teeth do that stuff. It's still attractive because it's confidence.
Yeah. I used to be, it used to give me a horrible complex that my mom never had a kind word to say about me to other people. Like when we would go places and she would talk about me, it was always, oh, she was demon spawn when she was a kid. She was so bad. She was terrible. Used to give me such a hard time. And I'm thinking, well, did we grow up in the same house? Because I wasn't that bad, Mom.
Now, what's interesting, and by contrast, my dad would say wonderful things about me to his friends. He would brag about me to his friends. But when he came home, I was worthless. He would, well, and he was always on me, and he made me feel really bad. I mean, I was 16, and I was working at Burger King, and they had these cheesy ass uniforms with a corduroy fake vest and all this stuff, and I'm getting dressed ready to go to Burger King, and he worked for a corporation. He was in management of, I'll just say, he worked for IBM, and he wore a suit and tie to work every day. I find out now through my buddy David, because his dad also worked at IBM on the same plane as my dad, and his dad went to work with a golf shirt on every day. So the tie and the coat was not, I don't think, required.
No.
But he kind of maybe subscribed to that, dress as though you have the job you want to have. But so when the company was in New York and we were all up in New York, then they were required to dress like that. But when they moved down to North Carolina, it was like, they loosened the noose, so to speak. But anyway, he would tell me, I remember I was getting ready to go to work at Burger King, the 5,000 Whopper leader. I was putting my uniform, and he came in the bathroom and shoved me against the wall. And he goes, "You think you're hot, don't you, boy? You think you're just hot stuff." And I didn't even know why he was there. He'd just come home from work, and and I guess he had a lot of stress, whatever. And he says, "Listen, I make more in an hour than you'll make in a year at that Burger King." I'm like, "Dude, I'm like 16. What am I supposed to be doing right now? Am I supposed to be CEO of IBM right now? I'm 16. I got a car I paid $10 for. What do you want from me?" At least
if I fill the gas tank, it'll double the value.
Right. And I can, I drive around on change in my pocket. Hey, but look, the kid next door don't have a job. Would you rather me be the kind of kid that has a job?
Yeah.
And then he would go to his friends and he would brag about me to us. "Oh yeah, my son, he works at Burger King. He's working and he's bought his own car and this and that and the other." Then he would come to me and make fun of it all. So
I never heard her ever say a nice thing about me to any of my friends.
What about you, Jen? Do you have any repressive childhood memories you want to throw in while we're on the subject?
I can't say I had a great childhood. I'm sorry, I can't add anything great to this conversation.
I don't think. I'm reminded of the line from the movie The Breakfast Club. I know you both saw The Breakfast Club, right? I mean, I know you did.
Yep.
Cult class. Okay.
Absolutely.
And one of the characters in the movie says when the basket case said her home life was unenjoyable, I think is what she said. And then the dork kid said, "Hey," to the jock, "Hey, you want to get on this?" She says she wants to be a bag lady because her home life is unsatisfying. That's what it was. It was unsatisfying. And then the jock says, "Well, everybody's home life is unsatisfying. Otherwise, people would live with their parents forever."
This is true.
But I think there's different levels of unsatisfying.
But I think this story, the moral of the story and the lesson I think that we all learn is we take from those situations what we want to be. And I have taken from that situation as a parent that if I talk about my daughter,
mm-hmm.
I don't say bad things about her.
Yeah.
I try my hardest. That, like, she tried cheerleading for a year.
Yeah.
And oh, dear God, she was awful at it. I tell people, holy God, she looked like an octopus having a seizure.
Yeah.
I just... horrible. And people are like, "Oh my Lord, that is like the worst thing." And I said, but you give that girl pens, pencils, markers, crayons, and a piece of paper, and she'll create you a Picasso.
Yeah.
It's just that cheerleading was not her gig. It's not her thing.
Right.
She's more of a mathlete than an athlete. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Those kinds of sports are not for everybody, but I give her the most respect and the most credit that she started it and she stuck it out for the whole year. She may not have wanted to stick it out for the whole year,
mm-hmm.
but she did.
Yeah.
And that's the exact spiel that I give people, that when they go, "Oh, well, she did cheerleading. Is she going to come back and try out again? Or is she going to do it again?" And I tell people, "Oh, Lord, no."
Well, and I told you.
Oh, Lord, no.
And Jen, I feel so bad. You're just sitting there like, why'd they call me?
Because it's her birthday.
Why am I? It is your birthday.
Because it's her birthday.
Yes, happy birthday.
Yay, I'm getting old.
Happy 26.
No, she knows that birthdays with me are like a huge thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. This is the birthday that I have coming up where I will get black balloons and.
But this birthday for her.
Look, it's a casket liner. Woo, that's what I needed.
This birthday for her is just beginning.
Got it from Amazon.
This birthday for her is just beginning.
Uh-oh.
Love them Amazon Prime caskets. Look, this is good. It gets good reviews. I mean, let's buy it.
So my takeaway from the whole thing is I'm going to use best practices, and I'm not going to talk badly about my daughter. And I mean, God knows I could absolutely go on for days about how bad behaved my son is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't.
I've told you to send him down here and let me whoop his ass for you. I mean, listen.
But I don't.
Listen, let Sergeant Mel get hold of his ass. Send him down here.
Oh my God.
Send him on.
But
he'll come back vacuuming, mopping, taking out garbage, putting dishes, and he'll love doing it. Mom.
He'll be like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Mom, do you have any dishes that need putting away? Do you have any laundry that needs done? Yeah.
But now that his station has been changed, he is getting better. And I don't talk about him because I feel like if I don't have anything nice to say, I'm just not going to say anything at all. And people ask how he is. And I say, oh, he's doing good. You know, he's doing good. The school year's blah, blah, blah. And
if I subscribe to that theory that if I don't have anything nice to say about my kids, then don't say anything at all, nobody would know I have kids.
The Podgram with Tom and Christy. Join the conversation. 855-PODGRAM.
22 right here on the Podgram, Tom and Christy, and we have Jen on the phone. Happy birthday to Jen. I'm trying to sing it with the music so that it matches. I'm not trying to do the classic, but I don't sing. There's a reason for that. So there you go.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. You're very welcome. I'm so happy that you're on the phone. And for those who are interested, Jen has fresh breath right now because she just brushed her teeth. So there you go. Thought I'd share that.
I have kissed me fresh breath.
Yeah, she has kissed me fresh breath on her birthday. That's great.
Awesome.
Should we take sign-ups? What do we do? Yeah.
Hey,
so
we could have a kissing booth. That would be awesome. The 4th grade fun day would be memorable.
Oh, no.
That might even go viral.
Oh, boy.
I get that one past the principals. No.
Soccer mom in Rome, New York. Yeah. Accused of sexual harassment.
I was arrested for that.
3rd grade. Yeah. Yeah.
I think a little, yeah.
You get
probably
a special room that you could go to, and it might even be some custom jewelry bracelets for you. I don't know.
I'm donating my lips for a good cause.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that's so funny.
Oh,
that is so funny.
So another story I've got for the last half of our day.
Last half. We're almost 10. You know, we're a quarter of it.
Well, we've
left.
only got like 15 minutes left.
I know.
Hurry up!
Just
get it done. Yeah, we'll keep Jen over here so she can keep us on track. Now that's what we do.
I know. Tick tick. So a Russian woman tragically died after she was administered embalming fluids instead of saline during a routine surgery.
No.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
No. That's bad.
Ekaterina Fedevera, 27, was undergoing a procedure at a hospital in early April when her medics mistakenly put her on a formaldehyde drip.
Oh, no.
Instead of a saline drip. They accidentally administered an IV bag containing formaldehyde, a preservative used to prevent corpses from decomposing.
No.
She came out of surgery suffering severe pain and convulsions, which lasted for 2 days before she slipped into a coma.
No.
Her husband, Igor, they're always named Igor.
Yes. And
her mother, Galina, were both present throughout the horrifying ordeal. Her legs were moving and she had convulsions. Her whole body was shaking, said her mother. I put socks on her and then her robe and a blanket, and she was shivering to such an extent I can't even describe it. I can't even pronounce that name, claimed the doctors were aware of their fatal error for hours, but still did nothing to help her daughter.
But what can you do at that point? It's the damage is done. What can you do?
They needed to
flush
take
the system. Or?
Well, see, I think the absorption rate. I try not to clear my throat on the show, but sometimes it just slips on by. My bad, your fault. I think the absorption rate of the body and the bloodstream. I mean, it's already there. The damage is there. It's already absorbed.
Yeah.
It's already doing its thing. It's in your brain. It's everywhere. You're pretty much broken at that point. As Steve would say, is that lady broken? Yeah, she's broken, buddy. Wow. But now, so the big question then is, do they store them side by side in the drug cabinet? I mean, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think they might put a little separation between those two sorts of things?
So it says that they needed to take urgent measures, but they did nothing, her mother said. I begged, please help her. She's my only child. I think they just wanted me to go away and hide everything.
I think at some point, I think that's one instance where they should have just called in Dr. Kevorkian. I mean, really, I think because it's going to happen. It's inevitable. It is what it is. And let me tell you, if this happened, see, I think that on death row, when they have to give a lethal injection, they should use that.
Well, they eventually put her on life support and had her flown to a larger hospital in Moscow.
Why drag it out?
Where she briefly woke up from her coma before dying from multiple organ failure. She was laid to rest on April 7th. A criminal investigation into her cause of death is reportedly underway.
Why would you put somebody on life support when you know they're going to die and it's going to be a miserable, but I think, let's think, what do you think, Jen? Do you think the people on death row, instead of that nice, here, we'll give you this one shot that'll make you dream about rainbows and unicorns, and then we're going to give you this other shot that's just going to make you go to sleep and then you just never wake up again? Or, because we're talking about like rapists and killers and people that chop their victims up and fried them up on the barbecue out back. Do you think we should give them the rainbows and unicorns, or should we just pump them full of formaldehyde and watch them just sit there and go, like the kid on the airplane movie, Should we care that they're in discomfort on death row, really? I mean, because look what they did. They didn't get there because they stole some kid's candy.
Right. Well, don't think so. I mean, I guess in this girl's case, put her out of her misery peacefully. Don't make her suffer.
Yeah, don't put her on life support, for Christ's sake. I mean, what is that?
Yeah.
Let's drag it out and make her suffer some more.
Yeah, let's.
Well, they put her on life support so that they could ship her to a larger hospital where they could, I guess, assist her in her end of life process peacefully.
Seems to me like it was already there. They should have just. I don't know. I mean, they should have just let her.
I mean, they couldn't euthanize her. That's the thing. They don't have medical euthanization there. They don't have a Kevorkian type of system. So they had to
peacefully put a dog to sleep while you're petting and loving them.
Yeah, drop down.
Do that with your loved one.
Drop down to the veterinary clinic and ask for. Can I borrow some of that stuff you do with the dogs? I mean,
they horse tranquilizer. I mean.
They do have meds that will put you under and you won't realize what's going on. But life support? Yeah. For what? People are morons.
That's just wrong.
People are from the very beginning of that story, where the formaldehyde, the embalming fluid, was stored next to the saline drip bags.
I think one slipped into the wrong place.
And you got some kid in there that's making minimum wage, just out there picketing for $15 an hour, saying, all right, and he's the kid that pulled the crap out of the cabinet. Oh, I can't read. I guess this looks like that. I guess it doesn't really matter.
First day on the job.
Right. They turn him loose. Hey, you want to be an anesthesiologist? Come on here. Come on in here.
Come on over.
My understanding is that someone is supposed to double check the setup before surgery, too. Like there's a surgical care team that double checks all that before surgery.
Yeah.
Well, that's in the U.S., but I mean, other countries are not as proficient in their surgical practices.
Hey, kid, you want a job? What's your name? My name Mike. Your name's not Mike. Yes, my name Mike. No, it's not Mike. Okay. My name Abdul. Well, you want a job? Come on in. $7 an hour. You're the anesthesiologist.
Yeah. Do breast implants.
I need 15. I must have 15. Yes. Breast implants I do for free. See, now I'm racist.
Everybody go bigger.
Yes, big implant. Give me this one. Yeah, see, now I'm racist because I did a voice. I did a characterization. Go ahead. Call me racist. Call me a bigot. Call me a hater. Go ahead.
I can't.
Nope.
Send death threats. I mean, because that's what happens.
I just can't.
When you first started telling me the story about the Russian lady, and all I could hear in the back of my head was this trailer park manager where I used to live back when, years ago. I lived in this little trailer park, and her name was Paula Gabbard. She's probably dead now. She was like 180 then. And so, but I shot her accidentally with a bottle rocket one time. because what happened was.
How do you accidentally shoot?
I swear it was an accident.
Rocket?
Okay, so what? Okay, so here's what happened. So going straight to hell. I'll save you guys seats. So there's in Alabama, it's legal to buy fireworks, and I don't just mean bottle rockets. I mean like the big, the ones that you could take down. You could actually start a war with some of these fireworks they sell at the little stand down the street that every redneck in an '87 Pontiac is out there buying, right? And all of a sudden, So I'm living in this trailer park, and across the street from me was a guy named Marvin. And when I got home, because I work nights at this radio station, so I got home at like 1:00 in the morning, 1:30, something like that. And so Marvin across the street and the guy next door would come over, and we'd sit on my deck and smoke cigars. But Marvin had to know when I was out there, and the only way I could get him past his wife was to shoot his house with bottle rockets. And his wife would start freaking out and send him outside to go check it out. And then before, as soon as he was out the door, she was back asleep again. Then he came over and said, I got out of that. And we sit there and smoke cigars, right? So I'm shooting, and I made this little cannon, this little bottle rocket cannon, so I could like zero in on his house and get, well, I guess I got one with a bent stick and put it in my bottle rocket cannon. And I'm going to have to mark this episode as explicit because of what happens next. So I fired this thing off, and he lived on a corner. It was like a little side street, and it was all, trees and stuff and shrubbery and stuff. And it was dark at night. You couldn't see anything back there. And so I shoot this bottle rocket out of the cannon with a bent stick, and you hear it go, phew. You know how they do when they take off. And then when it explodes, you hear, pow, ow, goddammit, 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 goddammit. It was the trailer park manager. It was Paula. And she was walking up the side street trying to figure out who the hell was shooting bottle rockets at 2 o'clock in the morning. She was in this pink nightgown and these fuzzy pink slippers. And I'd kick you out of my damn trailer park. You get out of here. You get out of here. Why you shouting? She was like, the lights were coming on in other houses up and down the street. People were like, what the hell's going on out here? Yeah. So I was.
Way to go.
I was stupid.
See, now we're internet shaming you. It all comes full circle.
Look, I deserve to wear the ribbons of shame for some of the crap I pulled in my life.
Dare I ask how old you were when this happened?
30.
Old enough to know better?
Oh, absolutely. Without question. I was probably early 20s. Without question. Yeah, I knew as a responsible mobile homeowner that I shouldn't be out shooting bottle rockets at my friends' houses at 2 in the morning. I knew that. I knew that when I was 12. Lapses, but that's funny. That was the only way to get Marvin out because his wife wouldn't let him go out. Can I go smoke cigars with Tom? No. So when she thought that, and Marvin was in the army at the fort at the military base down the street. Big army man. His wife's like, I hear somebody shooting at the house. You better go check it out. So that was how I got him out of the house. Until it all
gotta do what you gotta do.
And it all ended the night I shot the landlord in the face. And she was like holding her eye when she came up. And she's like, I kick you out of my trailer park. Get out of here. So apparently I hit her in the head with a bottle rocket. It blew up in her face. Yeah.
Trying to set her curlers on fire?
She was like a mean, snaky lady to start with. I'm lucky that she didn't kick me out of her trailer park. Because she would sit back and who do I kick out today? No trailer for you here. Who do I kick out today?
But she can't kick you out because if she kicks you out, then she doesn't get the rent money. So
I don't think she cared about that.
She doesn't get.
I don't think she cared one bit, one way or the other. All she wanted to do was smoke cigarettes, kick people out of her trailer park, and go gambling in Biloxi, wherever she went gambling. Yeah, that's all she cared about. She hated. I think she hated.
terrible.
I think she hated every tenant and went and made a list at night. She had like a dry erase board in her trailer in the kitchen of names of who was getting kicked out at the first opportunity. She was a miserable lady, and I didn't make it any better when I shot her in the face with a bottle rocket.
See, Jen and I are alike in that we don't have like tight reins on our husbands. We're like, oh yeah, you want to go with the boys? Go.
Yeah, it's like that for me now.
Go do your thing.
It's like that for me now because Mel trusts me, and it's good. I mean, I will never again do I want to be in a relationship where I'm not trusted.
Well, because most of the time, most of their friends we're friends with their wives or their girlfriends. So it's most of the time it's like a couples thing anyway. Or if, the boys are off doing something, then, we're like, well, hey, we should get together and why don't we go do our thing,
Yeah. I would say
I've had people tell me there's something wrong with me because, oh my God, you let your husband spend time around your female friends and talk to other women, and oh my God, your husband hugged another woman. There's something wrong with you. That's horrible. I'm like,
I have an in-law who is kind of like that. I have a couple of in-laws who are kind of like that. I used to go to the Waffle House with my buddy David, and we'd go, 11 o'clock at night, and I'd come back at 2 a.m. And one of the in-laws who was staying with us, who shall remain nameless, said, I can't believe you allow him to go out with his friends to the Waffle House. And she says, why would I not? I mean, he wants to go hang out with his buddies. What do I care? I'm going to bed anyway. What do I care? But he could be cheating. Nah, I don't think so. But I trust him. And if I didn't trust him, I wouldn't have married him, right? So eventually the in-law shows up at the Waffle House, but not at the Waffle House, at the Pizza Hut across the parking lot. And my buddy David says, hey, isn't that your in-law in the truck over there with the binoculars? And I looked over and said, well, damn, it sure is. So we're like flagging him, giving him come on in signal, And then we look up and he's gone. So the next night at the dinner table, I say to the in-law, hey, you should have come in last night and hung out with us.
Yeah.
And he says, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, no, but you were in the truck with a binocular. You should have come in. And my wife got so mad. You followed my husband with binocular. Oh, my God. It was so funny. It was so funny. He never tried it again, though. Public dinner table shaming got me where I needed to be.
See, you were convinced that Phil was going to hate you because of all of the conversations that you and I have.
It's the natural order of
things.
It's the natural order of things, though, generally speaking.
Because you and I, we're like, you're completely straight, but like big gay best friends.
Kind of.
Like we have very little barriers between us. We talk about just about everything.
Yeah, but see, to me, you're like one of the guys because you burp and you do the thing with your armpit.
I don't do the armpit thing. I swear, I don't know how to do the armpit thing.
But you would. But you would if you could.
I would if I could.
That's right.
I totally would if I could.
That's right.
But I can't. Evan can do the armpit.
Jen, can you do the armpit thing? The burp.
I can't, but I would.
Well, practice that. See, spend all that.
Okay.
Look, spend all that time brushing your teeth, and spend all that time brushing your teeth. What'd you learn from it? Nothing. You can't do the armpit thing.
She can hang with the boys too. She's pretty cool.
Forget the teeth. Do the armpit thing. That's What did you say to me one time? If you ignore your teeth, they'll go away.
Yes.
That's so funny.
If you ignore your teeth, they will go. My dad used to say that all the time. He goes, ignore your teeth. They'll go away.
And it won't be pleasant when it happens either. That's like the sign at the transmitter building that says, because there's very, very high current flowing through the transmitter building. And there's a sign on there that says, warning, the contents of this box will kill you very slowly and it will hurt the whole time you're dying.
Wasn't there a sign in the DMV in one of your states that you lived in that said must have a seat
front
to
seat,
take the driver's exam?
Yeah, it was Alabama. Yeah.
Oh.
And that sign would not have been there if somebody hadn't showed up that made that sign necessary. I'm just telling you right now. Okay, Jen, don't go away. Hang on with us. That's our show for today. YouTube Live. You can, of course, it'll stay on YouTube. Yes, you're waving. Let's wave. And then we hit the closing thing that has all this cool stuff here. Have a great day, everybody. It's the Podgram.
Podgram. Copyright 2018. Big Tower Media. So don't be stealing our stuff.